Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a terrifying true story submitted by someone named Sahil, and we're dropping you right into the middle of a literal Himalayan nightmare. I mean, if you think you know what isolation feels like on a dark, foggy mountain road, well, this account is going to completely rewrite that definition for you. We're going to look at how a trip meant for healing turned into an absolute fight for survival against something, well, entirely unexplainable. So, I want you to picture this vividly. Okay, it's 3:30 in the morning in a freezing hotel room in Manali. Sahil is suddenly jolted awake by the sound of singing. He looks over and finds his close friend Samay standing dead still right in front of a mirror. But he isn't just standing there. He's singing this sweet, innocent childhood lullaby. Chanda hai tu, mera suraj hai tu. You are my moon, you are my sun. But the voice echoing off that glass, it doesn't belong to him at all. It sounds exactly like a little child. Just imagine the sheer terror of waking up to someone you know so well, acting so incredibly alien in the dead of night. Section 1. The beginning of the horrifying night. As Sahel and the others wake up and look closer at Samai, they see things that just straight up defy logic. Samai's eyes are glowing this fierce, irritated red. And even more disturbing, there are deep, visible choke marks forming right on his neck. It literally looked as if invisible hands were gripping him from both sides. And through it all, he's wearing this sinister, totally unnatural smile. It was instantly clear to them that whatever was inside him in that moment was incredibly dangerous. Section 2. The trip to Manali. Now, the underlying emotional context of this trip is absolutely vital to understanding everything that goes down later. So Sahel, who's 25, organized this getaway to Manali with his buddies Chirag, Arun, and Samay. But this wasn't just some casual vacation, right? Just a few months prior, Samay suffered a devastating loss. His younger brother was killed in a tragic accident during a school trip. Samay, who used to be, the life of the party, was completely consumed by grief. His friends brought him to the mountains, hoping it would help him heal. But as we're going to see, that deep, unresolved grief, that's exactly what made him such a vulnerable target for what was waiting for them out there. Section 3. Rotang, Valley of Death. Before they even left for the famous Rotang Pass, the hotel receptionist practically begged them to be back before a 6 p.m. curfew. And why is that? Well, the word Rotang locally translates to Valley of Death or, get this, a pile of corpses. Yeah. The locals believe that for hundreds of years, this deceptive dark shadow has roamed the pass, claiming the lives of night travelers. And while official authorities often try to brush off these deaths as, extreme cold or accidental falls, the locals, they lock their doors at 6 p.m. sharp to avoid this phantom. The friends, of course, just brushed it off as a spooky tourist myth and laughed it away. Let's actually trace their exact steps that night. They completely blew past that 6 p.m. curfew. Actually, scratch that. They didn't even begin their descent from Rotang until 9:15 p.m. By then, the darkness was absolute, and a thick, blinding fog had rolled in. This late departure right into the dense mountain fog was the single decision that sealed their fate. It led directly to the loop at 11 p.m., their panicked escape at 2 a.m., and ultimately that horror at 3:30 a.m. we just talked about. Section 4. The Mystery of 28 Kilometers. So Arun is driving. Because of the blinding fog and these super treacherous cliff edges, he's creeping along at barely 30 kilometers per hour. Suddenly, out of the darkness, their headlights catch a stone milestone. It says Manali 28KM. Pretty normal, right? But then, 20 minutes of continuous driving later, they pass another stone, and it reads Manali 28KM. They figure, okay, we're just lost. But then, it happens a third time, right around 11 p.m. The exact same stone, the exact same 28 kilometers. They weren't making any progress at all. The mountain was literally holding them in place. And this is where the psychological horror really kicks in, totally fracturing their shared reality. They're trapped in this physical time loop, sure, but the entity is actively messing with them. At those 28 km milestones, each friend sees a completely different apparition. Sohail sees a freezing man in a white dhoti. Chirag sees a little girl holding a toy. Arun, he sees a stark black horse just standing there watching them. The entity is isolating them mentally, projecting these different horrors into each of their minds to just breed confusion and fear. But notice who isn't on this list: Samai. Samai sees absolutely nothing, but he starts muttering that someone outside needs their help. Section 5. The Shadow Running with the Car. Arun, staring wide-eyed at the road, quietly warns everyone not to look out the windows. But naturally, Sohail looks. And right next to the car is a 15-year-old boy. His clothes are caked in mud, and his face is battered with terrible injuries. But here is the truly chilling part. The car had sped up to 40 kilometers per hour, yet this injured teenager is effortlessly keeping pace right outside the window. He wasn't sprinting. He wasn't even running. He was just walking alongside them. No way, right? Now, while Arn is having an absolute meltdown, desperately mashing the central lock button to secure the windows, and failing, by the way, because the car's electronics are totally jammed, Samai slips into this deep, unnatural trance. He simply rolls down his window, stares blankly at the mangled spirit outside, and calmly states that this boy needs their help. The entity had found its way in. It was perfectly manipulating Samai's fresh, agonizing grief for his own lost younger brother. It's like a masterclass in psychological manipulation. The friends start screaming at Samai, pulling him back and breaking his focus just long enough for the spirit to fall behind the car. But then Sahil looks in the rearview mirror and what he sees just freezes the blood in his veins. The ghost boy is standing in the middle of the road behind them, slowly waving. And in the back seat, Samai is looking out the back window, smiling this vacant, terrifying smile and waving right back at it. A dark, unseen connection had been forged right there, right before Arun finally gunned the engine and they managed to escape past the 16-kilometer mark. Section 6, Exorcism and the Horrifying Truth. Which brings us right back to that freezing hotel room at 3:30 a.m. After waking up to Samai singing that lullaby with the red eyes and choke marks, the friends are slowly backing toward the door, absolutely terrified. Just before they can escape the room, Samai turns to them, and with this high-pitched, innocent, childlike laugh that did not belong to him, he delivers this chilling final threat. "Agar मैं रात को तुम्हारी खिड़की पर दस्तक दूं, तो तुम खिड़की खोल के मेरी मदद करोगे ना?" Which translates to, "If I knock on your window at night, will you open it?" And the very second those words leave his mouth, he collapses to the floor, completely unconscious. The very next morning, terrified and totally desperate, they drag Samai to a local pundit, a spiritual healer who came highly recommended by the hotel staff. Now, without them saying a single word, the pundit immediately identifies that Samai had recently lost a loved one. He confirmed that the dark entity on Rotang Pass had disguised itself as a child in need, specifically exploiting Samai's grief to possess him. Saving his life required a massive 4-step exorcism. It started with warding off the evil eye, then moved into intense spiritual healing chants, followed by a deeply rooted religious ritual. And it all culminated in a horrifying physical purge, where Samai vomited a thick, unnatural black liquid, finally expelling that dark shadow from his body. The good news is, today, Samai is completely back to normal. He survived an unimaginable brush with the paranormal. But for Sahil, the trauma remains. He is forever haunted by nightmares, constantly waking up to the phantom echoes of that midnight lullaby. It's a pretty stark reminder of the unknown forces that might exist in the darkest corners of the world, just waiting for the right vulnerability. So I'll leave you with this thought to ponder today. If you were driving in the pitch dark, isolated on a mountain road, and someone outside asked for your help, would you open your window?